Alright, so what I do, I get the Excel list, and from the Excel reader I get a list back, and once I get a list back, I actually want to test with display the list out. Since read Excel file does show Excel data, I can pass the list in, and when I run this test, it's going to show the list out. Now what I did, I start to delete the first row, which is the label name, hospital name, and hospital address. It's not showing up. So once that's ready, I start to, this is just like show the whole list, but we want to read in one row by row instead, and put each row into an object hospital. That's why we want to test the code first here, right? So we're going to make, we have to declare hospital object here, but that's what we want to test, right? Hospital equals to new hospital. But this one actually an array of, we can do BST here to start a BST of hospital, right? So we're going to link to our binary search tree now. So our BST is, let's look at how we use this. We use the plain binary search tree, right? And I think we already have the code to test the binary search tree, right? These are just all the BST node, BST interface. And we have, this is the code to test your binary search tree. It's already show you how to use it. So we just put it right here, copy this code. So we create a BST list. This is going to store the, instead of string, we're going to store the hospital, right? This is a generics, right? Now we just need to see what happened here. Oh, it requires you to implement comparable. That's the benefit of making comparable, because you're required to implement comparable, and we want to compare hospitals, and also let's make serializable, because we may want to write to files here. Then we are required to add the implemented methods, right, which is compare to. Now you're required to compare to. Now we come back to this requirements, right? It's how we're going to compare. It's the order by latitude and longitude. So we have to compare by longitude and latitude. Right, when you put into the list. The reason we want to do this, we may want to find the location nearby, right? So how are we going to do this? So we already have the attributes longitude and latitude, right? So it's the latitude first and then longitude. Then you have to get the object in, and we start to say if this dot, so we're going to do a longitude, right? We say latitude first, latitude, right? We're going to do, this is latitude is the string, right? So we have to do compare to on the string. We don't really need to do this. We can just return because it's string. So, but return this is going to be just latitude. Then let's do this if first, because we have to compare both lat and long. O dot get is latitude. Now after we compare, so if it's less than 0, now we have to think about we are comparing more than one attributes. So what we're going to do, we can follow the principle from this. Okay, URL. When you compare more than two attributes, I mean more than one and just two. So we store the values of the result of the first attribute that you compare, first name. And if it's already equals, then returns equals. Else it starts to compare last name. Alright, so that's the resource that we use. So we gotta do the integers values int, right, compare equals to now we return, we're gonna say compare equals to 0. If it's already equals to 0, if it's equal to 0, we just return the result of the compare. Else we will do after question mark, which is this dot longitude, right? The second attribute that we want to compare, dot compare to O dot get longitude. So it's something like that. We compare two attributes. But if it's more than 2, then you have to research further. Not just 2. So that is being implemented. Now, when we return here, we're going to get a list hospital list. Alright, to print. This is, we're going to call it hospital3, right? BST, binary search tree. So now we get a list here. We have to create an object and put into a tree. That's what we want to do. So this should iterate. Right. Just like when you display, you show Excel, it's going to its sheet, which is the list size. So let's see if we are able to do that first. So this is, instead of sheet data, is actually the hospital list. Alright, hospital list dot size, and then hospital list dot get I. So this is just reading from each Excel row. So this should be a row. So we're going to just test to display this first to see if we can do just a row list. Okay. Show data, I'm not going to use that. But I want to see what do we get from each row. Maybe we don't really need a loop. To see if we can get the first row in. Get index 0. That should be the first row. run it. There you go, that's the first row. So that meaning we actually can get an object from the first row by list itself. If you read the code, list itself can do get. Inside the first row, we can do a loop here, right? For loop through the first row, and you loop through the first row, and each row they have its own index, which is the columns, right? So let me explain that inside the code. So we're going to loop. Let's talk about just the first row. For int column, this is talk about columns because row itself has all the columns, right? Columns equal to 0. Column less than list dot the size that we read in, right? Size I'm gonna call row. Then you know what I mean, right? Then I print out the row, and then rows dot size, right? I'm gonna call row data. Then you know the whole record. Let me call record. The record. So record. So that's each row we call record. And record size. That means we want to go to see how many columns in each record, right? And then we do increment by column. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to just test to see if I can get the record dot get at the column index, right? So let's display that out first. If I can do out one by one, we know we can get a record. We're commenting out, but now I want to see if I can get each columns. There you go, I can get. That means I can just create a hospital now, because we know the first column is hospital name. So that means I'm going to create an object of hospital. So this is going to be like that inside here, but using the constructor with hospital name first, right? Now we have to do truncate this or get substring, right? Use substring index. So make sure we can do substring first, because hospital, our hospital, let me move it to the right. Then you see the attributes. We have the name, which is the first one. We need the street address. So let's see if I can do. I'm going to create a same here. I want to put into, instead of printing out like that, I can just, it's printing out. What's the best way here? I actually want to do substring, right? Of the second row only, but not the rest. So instead of do iterating here, we pretty much just has to do one by one in this case. Or we still can iterate, but at the column 1 I want to put into, when it's column 1 I want, we may see writing the code here is going to be a little bit tricky. We could do, but it's going to take time and make too much process into the program. I better do use the data, use the tools on Excel. We can do text to columns. and then you can